Welcome back to another podcast here in the Ram's Den. And today I'm joined by a very controversial guest, actually. This is Molly Elwood. Molly here is the founder of Elwood's Organic Dog Meat, which is, I believe, the only fully organic and humane dog meat producer like in the world. Am I right saying that?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done a lot of research into other places, but definitely the only one here in the US.
Right. I mean, I've only seen like the horrors of like Cambodia and stuff where they're like just such bad, just so inhumane and just the conditions are so horrible. So I'd never seen like as high quality as yours, which is why I've spoken about you guys in a few videos and stuff as well. And I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, I mean, let's just dive into it. I mean, most farmers just go for like, the standard like chickens or pigs or cows. I mean, what inspired you to go and start farming dogs? Like, I suppose I'm asking, what's your story? What's the story of the farm? What's your story?
Yeah. So it's actually a farm that was started by our step uncle back in the 80s. He was always farming his own dogs just for himself, and then he started sharing it with his neighbors, and they really they liked it as well. So they then went to the farmers markets that he started selling there, and then it kind of snowballed from there. He started with corgis, and then he did Labradors, which is now one of our staples. And then my husband and I, we used to be vegan, and we used to be we were doing like Iron Man type stuff, and we just
Mm,
weren't getting enough protein, and we didn't, we tried, we were just, it just wasn't working out for us. So we didn't do any research on how to fix it. Instead, we just started eating meat again. And then we went back to
mm,
our uncle's house and ate just an amazing holiday dinner. And after a few glasses of wine, we were like, why aren't we doing this? We need to get out of the city. I want to get back in touch with the roots. I want to be back, really connected to the land and get back to things. So we moved out of the city, moved out with our step uncle actually on
mm,
his property, and we just started. We doubled his production within a year, and so
mhm.
yeah, we've been part of the farm for about 5 years now, and things
Okay.
are going great.
It's amazing, and I love hearing the story of your ex-vegan story, how you instead of, wasting time, like, going to, like, a doctor or nutritionist, like, a lot of people, actually, not a lot of people do that, and I think it is the right way is not to do that, and instead to
Right?
not only in your case, you not only went for meat, you went specifically for dog meat, which
Yeah,
by the sounds of things, it worked out for you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
The,
mean, it
the
must have been
great
the
thing
right
about
thing to do.
Yeah, dog meat's
Yeah.
great because it has a lower cholesterol, lower carbon footprint, better for the planet, better for your heart. And it's just, it's a really untapped resource that we're not
Mm.
taking advantage of, and we're really hoping to share that with more people.
It's good that I like that you're not into, like, the full extreme carnivore diet, though. Those guys think cholesterol's a good thing, and you're, like, looking at the low you're sticking to the
Well,
science even
yeah,
though,
no,
you've gone yeah. I think
we're
that's really important.
it's very balanced. We're still eating vegetables, but there's nothing as protein rich as a side of corgi legs or something, alongside
Mm.
your kale.
Imagine, yeah, I can imagine. Never tried it. Well, no, I've not tried the corgi legs yet. Like, I've tried
Mhm.
the, what was the type? The corgi hot dog. That
Right.
I had that as I made a video about that recently,
Mhm.
promoting the corgi dog. And a couple of people have gone on about Labrador steaks, and they keep saying it like, or I think there's a German Shepherd steak, a Labrador steak. Um, I think they were just a little bit out of my price range last time I checked, but yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to do like a little promo video for you guys
Yeah,
some
I'd love
point.
to send some too. It's the higher price point is because it's free range, and they're grass fed. They're not kept in cages,
Mhm.
so we can't have as many of them. So it ends up being a
Right,
higher price point. But pretty soon grass fed is going to be available to everyone. We're hoping to
right.
lower that price point.
And let's go through your offerings because I've just mentioned a few there, the corgi hot dogs or like just corgi dogs, I suppose. Corgi, I mean, they're literally hot dogs. I mean, there could be a better name in there somewhere. Just
Yeah, we're
yeah,
still working on marketing there. Yeah.
right. So you corgi hot dogs, Labrador, German Shepherd steaks. What else? What are the breeds and types of meats do you guys do?
We do husky, we do sea spaniel, which is funny. It's kind of like a funny name for it, but it actually has like a softer, pinker. It's kind of more fish-like. So
Right.
we have the free range sea spaniel. We
Okay.
do Pyrenees. We actually harvest the hair from the Pyrenees, so we can use it in making fabric from it. It's very warm. It's really dense.
Right.
So that's great. We
You're
do
making the
pomer
most, like, every part of the animal, right? Which is so, so
exactly,
important,
nose
and
to tail. That's, if we're gonna
yeah.
honor the animal, we have to use every piece. So we do
Mhm.
Pomeranians. Our uncle learned how to make the Pomeranians lay eggs. It's very strange, I know, but there is some breeding. We don't really get into it, but we have these Pomeranian eggs that are delicious. We and then we do golden retriever milk, and
Mm,
uh, and because we have golden retriever milk, we do have veal steaks because of that. The veal puppies, very
mhm.
tender, really popular around the holidays. We sell out every year.
Wow. I want to ask about the eggs, but I don't want to ask about the eggs. This seems like something I'm
It's so
eh
weird. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Are we gonna bypass this? Are
I
you
think
gonna
we
tell
should
us
just
how the hell
bypass that. I
Oh,
don't,
okay, okay.
I think it was some crossbreeding,
Mm.
some DNA swapping. So I'm not really quite sure what. Yeah,
Mm. Okay, well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's this they do the same stuff with chickens, right? So it's not
right.
any different, crossbreeding and you know
Right. No, no. And they're
Mm,
bred to lay a lot of eggs that they're not able to survive very long because of
mm,
that. So that we always have a steady supply of Pomeranians to eat. Our picnic breeds are some of our most popular as well, besides the Labrador. The picnic breeds are Chihuahuas, Yorkies, um,
mm,
these Pomeranians, these small ones that you can, one for a family for one family meal. You can
right.
fry it, take it to a ball game, you know.
Right, right. It's and also you mentioned the Labrador milk, which actually I was looking into recently, and I found that just like with the Hindus and the cows, there are actually people that look to the Labrador as like some kind of deity or some kind of holy animal. And I'd realized that since you guys are like the only company, the only people out there who sell Labrador milk, you must be making bank off of that, of
Oh,
these
yeah.
spiritual, these religious people.
Some of that, not a lot in our region, but
Mm,
there's a lot of people who are looking for, especially raw milk, so
mm, hmm. Oh yeah.
we have these shares, some places it's illegal to drink raw milk unless it's from your own animals. So a lot of our customers are also co-owners of specific dogs. They get to
Right.
name them, they get to meet them, and then they get their own
Nice.
gallon of raw milk a week from them. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I saw some videos of them, these groups with the Labrador milk, like kind of pouring it on the statues to pay homage to
oh
the
yeah,
deities and stuff. It's really heartwarming to see that such a for you guys it was a business decision is actually being used for like spirituality as well as people who want the
yeah.
raw milk, like those kind of what are they calling themselves? This new movement of going back to raw, like going back to like the roots. There's like a name for them. I can't
I'm not
remember what
sure
the
what that is.
ancestral living. That's the one.
Right, right,
Ancestral
right.
living.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, something for everyone, isn't there?
yeah,
Like
it's really,
it's
it's people who are looking out, to improve their health, people looking to connect back to their roots, people looking to just try something new. Foodies, I mean, foodies
mm,
are just this untapped market. They're hungry for everything and they want to eat everything no matter what. So we're here to, whatever's clever, whatever you need,
yeah.
Elwood
Oh, it's
Farms. That's
smart.
a good
That's really
tagline.
smart. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna get into something a little bit more tricky now, and but I'm
Yeah.
sure you're prepared for it because
Right.
people want to know, with them being dogs,
Mhm.
surely they're more difficult to handle and farm because dogs are like they're smart, right? I mean, people spend a lot of time with them. People know how smart they are. So like, how does it work? I mean, surely they're some of the smarter ones, like border collies, for example. I mean, they could figure out how to escape pretty easy, right? So
Yeah.
how are you managing this with them? How are you stopping them from figuring out how to,
Oh,
and
man.
also with the sorry, to follow up with they know what's going on. They've got the great sense of smell and stuff. Surely they know when the end of the time is coming and you're going to take them off to be you know
Right.
processed. So how are you
Right.
dealing with this whole process? Talk me through it.
So all of it, I mean, nobody talks about how much farming is mending fences,
Right.
metaphorically and physically. We're out there every morning making sure there's no breaks in the fences. Oftentimes, uh, you know, dogs may get out and we have to get them back from the neighbors and just, hope that they don't keep them. Some vegan activists
Mm,
will come out and try and steal our dogs from us. And they're like, oh, I found it.
right.
But yeah, like that's still our
Dog
property. So
rescuers and people, this kind of
yeah,
people,
it's
right? Yeah, yeah.
they think that these are companion animals, but these are raised for it. These are not pets. And so like
Right.
you said, similarly, they're very smart, but again, not pets. So we do a lot of kind of you know, I don't wanna say aggressive, but, a lot of it's not training. These dogs aren't trained, so it's a lot of,
Mhm.
we have a lot of aggressive, corralling setups that we use to move them, especially moving them from place to place, in
Right.
the free range ones. We have, when it comes to, like, the smaller ones in large, um we have a lot of, sheds that have a large quantity of animals in them, and
Okay.
we have rules about who's even allowed in the shed, like, we do farm tours, and you can't go in them, it's just too dangerous. Um,
Sure.
but,
Sure.
your second question was,
Yeah,
um
about the so I mean, because of their sense of smell,
oh,
they
yes, yes.
and their intellect, surely they know something, something's coming.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So how do
Yeah,
you handle that?
some of them, I mean, you could guess, but I think we're kinda anthropomorphizing them a bit to think that they understand
Okay.
what's going on.
Right.
We do separate them into different groups, like, if it's harvest day, we will, take the group that is going to be harvested, we'll move them to a separate barn where they'll get to calm down a little bit more before, one by one. We make sure that no dog sees another dog get slaughtered. That's just,
Mm.
personally something that I care about. Um,
Mhm.
but we have a mobile butcher who comes for the larger breeds, and then
Oh,
we
yeah.
have staff on hand that does the smaller picnic breeds. The picnic breeds, though, are much different. They are just, they're just not as bright, so they're
Right.
slaughtered all at once. But yeah,
A little bit easier to deal with than like,
yeah,
I get it. Kind of maybe similar to a like a kind of chicken processing kind of
yeah.
thing, like small or easy to move around and
The our chicken harvesting plant was formerly. I mean, our Chihuahua harvesting plant was formerly a chicken harvesting one. We just moved in there. We use all the
okay.
exact same things. We use the same methods. The
Right.
cone for the neck, the hooks to hang them. The scalding to remove the fur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Smart. And with the
yeah,
bigger ones, I guess it would be the same as other large animals. Like, I mean, well,
right.
actually, how does it work? Because I know with pigs, they use they put them in a gas chamber and gas them to knock them out, and then or kill them. Actually, sometimes it kills
Mm,
them, and if they're not dead, then they're unconscious and they slit their
yeah,
throats. And then with the cows, because they're bigger as well, they can't gas them. They're too big to go in these chambers, so they just like bolt them in the head and then cut the throat. So the biggest dogs you would have are not probably they're not as heavy as a pig, let's say. So, I guess, yeah, how
there's
do you
still
do it? Do you
large.
go for
We
yeah.
we we do a bolt gun,
Okay.
on our largest breeds. Our, Mastiffs, our Saint Bernards, they are stunned before
Mm,
their throats are slit, so, and
okay.
then we do have one gas chamber that we use for our medium-sized breeds. Our Labradors are all gassed, all humanely gassed, so they are not
Okay.
conscious when the time comes.
It's important, isn't it? I think
Mhm.
especially, now we know so much about animals and we know that these stunning methods, in the past, I guess there wasn't a lot of importance on them. Animal welfare wasn't really a big thing, but now the people are demanding it, right? They don't just want any
Right,
meat. They want to make sure that there's some humane killing going on. So that's
right.
it's great that you guys are on board with that. And
Yeah,
actually, I skipped this point. I want to step back a second because
yeah.
you have a lot of dogs out there. So are you just I mean, it's business, right? Are you just waiting for them to breed? Are you just leaving them to it, or like, are you getting involved like some of the other animal farmers do? They artificial insemination kind of stuff. How do you
Yeah.
guys do it?
We do a lot of selective breeding ourselves because we're trying to
Mm,
breed for size. We wanna make sure that we maintain the lineage. So, yeah, my husband, Landon, he does all the insemination, all the dog insemination himself.
right.
Smaller picnic breeds, they take care of business themselves. But,
Okay.
yeah, the larger ones, we're out there, with the gloves
Mm,
on. You've seen it. It's not very
yeah.
glamorous, but,
Yeah.
it's back, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
really it's what our ancestors have done
Sure.
forever.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And you are you that's an interesting question. I like to ask the farmers this actually because it intrigues me. Where are you getting the sperm from? Like, I mean, are you taking it from your own dogs and then doing it manually so it's more effective, or are
Yeah.
you buying it from somewhere else?
Yeah, well, since considering, we're one of the, only dog breeders who's doing this at this, this level, I guess you'd say,
Sure. The scale.
this scale and this, but also just
Yeah.
this level of professionalism too, that
Oh, okay.
we are the providers of it. We are that we harvest the sperm ourselves. Sometimes we actually even give
Ah,
it to other people who are doing backyard breeding themselves.
wow,
But yeah,
okay.
we harvest it ourselves. We have a few studs that are our go tos. We use some. You, I don't know if you'll. I've never said this to people, but whatever.
Okay.
We do the electro ejaculation to in order to ensure that we can get the most sperm, and it's fine. They make
Yeah.
it's fine.
I mean I mean I don't wanna sound like, this might be nasty to say, but I mean, I can't imagine it's that bad for them. I mean, they are ejaculating at the end of the day, so
I
it must
know.
feel
I mean,
somewhat
it's
alright. I
they come
mean
back. They come back to do it again
right,
in the morning.
right.
So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we
Yeah. I
bring
mean, I
them
know
in,
some
but
people who
yeah,
pay for that to be done to them, so I mean,
exactly.
especially in
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere like Berlin, So I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I guess it's all all right, we gotta get to the bit that I guess some people listening to this like, "What the fuck is going on here?" It's controversial, right, what you're doing, isn't it? I mean,
A
dog
little.
all
Yeah.
right? Although dogs, it's becoming more and more normalized, there's still a massive, massive amount of especially the population of the West that's like really just doesn't I don't just can't get on board with it. So
Right.
talk to me about some of the controversies you've seen since you started up the farm.
Yeah. So yeah, we get a lot of death threats. That's just huge. We get phone calls every day. I just published one this morning. It's just
Mm,
some guy just called me a sack of shit, and I'm like, "Were you up at 4 this morning? Helping euthanize puppies that were hypothermic?" We go
ugh,
through such hard work, and
yeah,
there's no respect for the work we're doing. Yeah, death threats. Emails, people coming, trying to find out, you know, where we are. I mean, you can come
mm,
visit the farm, and I'm just look at our website, and you can come
right,
to our farm. You don't have to threaten me, or threaten to burn down my business, or yeah. I mean,
yes.
they're graphic. It's very graphic.
And you think this is like the vegans, animal rights activists, these are the ones doing it, or you think it's a lot of the some
You
general
know
public
what's
as well?
funny? You know what's funny is the
Mm,
vegans have been the most supportive.
mm,
They because they understand that all animals are equal, so they are leaving us alone. They're so busy protesting animal agriculture as a whole. It's not like they're just
right.
going to me. It's mostly
Okay.
meat eaters who are against us, and they reach out, and they're
Okay.
chomping on a chicken while yelling at me for my chihuahua. That I mean,
Mm.
and
Yeah, yeah. It's like every year when Yulin comes around every year and we see a lot of animal rights activists get upset, obviously, as they're animal
right.
rights activists, but then a lot of meat eaters get upset and they make posts and stuff about Yulin Dog Festival. So it doesn't surprise me that they're upset about Yulin Dog Festival. Of course, they're going to be upset about you as well. But no one's answering the question of why are you upset? Why are they giving you death threats? Why are they not giving death threats to the chicken farmer as well?
It's
Then I
rid
mean,
or and it's so I mean, it's so ridiculous because dogs are dumber than pigs. Dogs are
right,
dumb. So why I don't see why we would care so much about them if we're still eating bacon. You can reach out
right.
to me when you've stopped eating bacon, and then you can yell at me about my dogs. But until then, I mean, where's yeah. And as a former vegan myself, I get the passion, I get the rage, I get the wanting to like I was at a festival once, and a drunk man went to my table, and he wiped everything off of it. And
Right.
he was so upset, and he is a meat eater. I don't get, you know,
Mm.
it's
Yeah. No, it's weird. And so excuse me, when you get these kind of comments and let's say online on you got your socials, I know you're across
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if you're on something like TikTok and stuff as well,
Yeah,
but
I'm all
yeah.
the socials, I
Right, you're on
think.
TikTok. I mean, TikTok must be an absolute TikTok is a cesspool of a platform. I hate it. So I quit it completely. I deleted the app.
Oh.
I'm so done with it.
I just post videos, I don't really engage,
Sure.
it's a
Smart.
place to keep I publish a lot of the, voicemails that I get, a lot of the hate messages are
Ah,
all
yeah.
published on TikTok just because it's a documenting for later.
Yeah. And then so when you get these kind of comments on socials then so that they're leaving, Like, how are you? What do you don't engage too much, I suppose, but when you do engage, what do you respond with? How do you, yeah, try and get people to, like, back the fuck off, leave you alone?
Well, for the most part, on Facebook, I have an autoresponder. You can choose different paths to go. So, one of them just tells you to go to the website and read all the way to the bottom. And if you haven't read, keep reading because it's like a puzzle, and you're going to figure it out. And yeah, you'll find out that it's not real.
Right.
'Cause I didn't know how to get
Cool.
to that spot.
No,
Yeah,
well, I
it's
mean, it's great. I mean,
me.
20 minutes of solid
uh,
farmer talk. And now we can finally reveal for anyone who's stuck. I mean, I can't imagine anyone's going to stick around if they're really upset to this long. But yeah, none of it's real, guys. This is
yeah,
all
no.
it's all a spoof. It's all a it's a spoof website. Okay. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat is a vegan message. It's a, I don't even call it, like, it's a vegan activism. It's a kind of social experiment with a vegan message. How would you define it, really, what you're doing here?
I call it an art project, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a vegan journey. You go on a vegan journey of through my satirical website where it starts off, I take all the content from actual farmers' websites and I put it on my website. Except for as you scroll down, it's like, why are you mad? And then at the end, it reveals the truth and talks you through the emotions you're having about what you're
Yeah.
reading.
Oh, it's brilliant. You've tricked so many people with this website. It's not been that long, has it? How long have you had this up for, the fake company?
A year and a month or so.
And
Yeah.
it's already done, like, it's done the rounds. It's really been
Yeah.
around. It's caught so many people. So let's do the real you now, okay? Let's give
Yeah.
people the truth. So,
Yeah.
all right, like, so just in case anyone's not following here, or confused, because I want to talk past people, because it's easy for us because we know what it is, right? Just to be
Right.
clear, this Elwood's Organic Dog Meat is a fake website, fake Facebook, fake Instagram. I mean, they're all real accounts, but the company doesn't exist. There are no
Yeah.
dogs. There are no dog farms. There is no dog farming. There is no dog meat. Okay, just make that 100% clear, because some people will watch this and they will think they won't get it. Trust me, right? So we have to be super clear.
Yes,
It doesn't
yes,
exist.
very clear. Yes,
Okay,
there
everyone, calm down.
mhm,
Everyone, calm down. It's all vegan messaging. It's to get people to realize, and we'll get to that now. So, tell me your actual story. Okay, include your vegan story as well, and
okay.
then what led to the moment where you thought, "Hey, do you know what's going to be a great idea to make a fake dog meat farm and try and get everyone to believe it's real?"
Oh, okay. So, I've been vegan over 6.5 years now.
Okay,
And it took me a long time to get here because I was vegetarian. Vegetarian for quite a few years before that, and pescatarian. And, I feel like every step of the way that I was trying not to be vegan. And I did, until one night I saw a video of chicks going into a garbage can, and I went, "What am I looking at?" And I was vegetarian, being like, "I'm helping the animals. I'm not eating animals."
yeah.
And I thought vegans were just people who are really obsessed with health. I didn't know what
Oh, right.
the message had never gotten through to me. So
Sure.
I had one dark night of the soul, looking, why do vegans not drink milk? What is, yeah. So, I went vegan after all that. And, I'm a writer. I work, I write in advertising and I write for myself. And then so I,
Okay.
tried to, I tried to get into activism. I felt like if everyone knew what I knew, of course they were going to go vegan immediately. And it's so funny. You show people that video of people sorting chicks into a garbage can and they
Mm.
don't care. And you're like, I hate people. Um, so I was writing blog posts and things like that. And,
Mm.
was trying to find out how is it that I can help change people's minds. But it actually, what came down to was, um, trying to find the perfect vegan bumper sticker, and I didn't think it existed, and I'm looking everywhere for it. And you've got like peace, and you've got like imagine world peace, and it's just like I love vegan and I love chickens and vegan is love. And I was talking to my husband, whom we were sharing the car with, and so the bumper sticker had to speak to him too, and he was like, "No,
Mm.
and he's vegan." And so we were like, it should. He wanted it to talk about the logic, and as we were listing it,
Mhm.
this bumper sticker keeps getting bigger and bigger, and then we're like, what is the like? We realized that we thought Elwood's dog meat was just funny, and we thought that that would. Our last name's Elwood. We thought that
Yeah.
that that would make someone have to look it up. They would have to go, "What? Why does this exist?" And so we thought we'd just do one bumper sticker, Elwood dog meat, and then the second bumper sticker is like, "Why you mad, bro? You eat pigs." Like, and leave it at that. And then we're
Right.
like, so that was the initial thought. And then I went, I know how to make websites. I should just make a website and put that on the bumper sticker. And then I was like, maybe I should put this on social media. And then it went viral. And suddenly, a year and a half later, I run a dog meat farm. So it wasn't intentional. It was definitely not intentional. And I just feel just hashtag blessed, you know?
It's a great story. I love how it came about so naturally as well. Just like it makes complete sense how you came to that conclusion, and I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed promoting it as well, and like messing around with the sponsored videos. I'll do
Oh
loads
God.
more as well. I'll do loads
So
more.
good. I think, one thing, it's rough to have, like, kind of like what we did at the beginning, to have, like, a
Mm,
sustained conversation about it, because it is so ridiculous. It is so much better to talk about, like, the website and the interactions. I've had a booth at Vegandale twice, and these interactions where people just ask you questions. They're like,
mm.
"Is this real?" And you can just stare them in the face, and you're just like, "I don't see what the problem is." And you wait. It's a conversation they have to have with themselves, not necessarily with
Yeah.
me. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
get that. Yeah. What's the so let's do this. So what is the like funniest reaction you've had either online or in person when they've seen this?
It was the drunk man at Vegandale who
Okay.
I and it's funny because so many people at Vegandale are not vegan. They are people here for a food and music festival. And
Okay.
I was in person pretending to be selling dog meat at a very legitimate looking booth. I have a menu, I have everything, and I just stay in character. And so he was holding my brochure in front of me, and he goes, "Is this real?" And I said, "Why wouldn't it be? I don't see what the problem is." And he holds my brochure up and he tears it slowly in front of me. And I think he's being dramatic and funny. And I'm like, "Hey,
Right.
those are expensive. Don't do that." And then he took everything on my table, and he wiped it all off on the floor, and he
Oh
started
wow.
yelling at me, and vegans had to step in and, like, physically protect me from him as he was
Oh man.
screaming. And it was just, we're trying to tell him it's not real, but because of the amount of alcohol he
Right.
consumed, it didn't
Right.
even resonate with him. So but he will never forget the day that he tore down a vegan booth at a vegan festival. Some
It's
troll,
so funny. So that would
but
be, I guess, would he count as the funniest and also the angriest, or have you had
and
angrier than him?
scariest, yeah.
Right.
I don't do a lot of stuff in person. I mean,
Okay.
I I've only done the booth twice. Other activists have taken, I've worked with them and sent them designs and brochures and stuff, and they've set up tastings, so they probably have different stories. Voicemails are hilarious. The death threats, I mean, the death threats, or it's like threats of violence, and they're so creative. And I think about, like, if I get mad at someone, I'm like, "You stupid asshole." Like, I don't get that far into it. These people are so creative. It's like, "I hope you trip over a rake and it, smacks you over the head, and your sister gets raped and she's watching you." And
Oh my
it's like,
god.
it's so many levels and it's all, oh, not to put in rape in there just casually, but it's horrific. It's the horrific things that I'm not going to list, but it's so creative. And I'm like, these people are having a vegan emotion. Like, that's what you want to,
Right.
I want to hit someone over the head with a bat if they're doing something to animals and I can't stop it. So I'm going to, yeah.
And that's exactly the point, isn't it? It's the point you're
Yeah.
trying to show them that they have
Right.
more in common with the vegans and they're just basically being
Yeah.
inconsistent. Inconsistent's a nice word. Hypocrite is
Mhm.
a not nice word, but they mean the same thing, don't they? Basically, right?
Right.
That's what someone's being. And
Yeah.
why do they get angry about dogs specifically? In your opinion, what is it that drives them to insanity about dogs?
They have a dog in their home, they have a dog in their lap when they're reading this, it's so much easier for them to 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 feel and to connect and feel they also can stop it. They feel,
Mm,
it is recently illegal in the United States to stop it. And so for like there's the righteousness of being like, I'm gonna call someone and I'm gonna put a stop to this and it's not gonna continue, which is something we vegans don't have. We can't be like, I saw you doing
mm,
that and we're gonna end it. So
right.
I think they feel buoyed by having the law on their side, maybe.
It's a good point, that actually, because they will sit there all day and criticize these. Look at these stupid PETA activists, and then they see your farm, and they're like, "Hello, PETA."
Yeah, that is so funny. It's like what people tag PETA all the time. They're like, PETA, how do you know about this? I'm like, remember you hate PETA?
That's brilliant. Oh
uh,
my
I
god.
I also do have
The
a list of like I had a screenshot of it. It was all the places people said they were calling. They were like, I'm calling the government, I'm calling the ASPCA, I'm calling PETA, I'm calling I have a phone number, so they find the area code where it's located and they call the police in that area. I really need to call them and be like, how many phone calls do you get about me?
oh
Just
man.
curious.
Do they know the situation? Have you told the police, like, do you inform them like, "Hey, this isn't real, like, don't worry,"
No,
or
no, I hope they
no?
come looking for me. I don't I love the idea of them trying to find me and they're gonna pull up, like, at my house. I don't even have a dog, so yeah.
You'd have to you'd have to film that. That would be too
Mhm.
good, like a body cam or something. Have you got a body cam for when these crazy face-to-face things happen? Like, did you, for
No, I
example, did
should
anyone
get
film that
one.
crazy guy? Not
Nobody
yeah,
filmed that
please,
one,
God, that would be
but at Vegandale, we did film some stuff, and,
yeah.
so we're gonna try and put together a little thing for that, so
That'll be brilliant. So,
mhm.
and the point of all this, so it's not your point. Let's be clear here, because some people might just think you're just like an expert level troll. I mean, you are trolling. I mean, to be fair,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah.
not. It's not like that's the aim. It's just okay, troll and then leave it. Like, you're
No.
trying to follow up, and like, the point is to point out that inconsistency, and
Right,
then they read the website and follow up. So let's talk about like the people who have been positively affected by this, because I've
right.
seen some myself, right? So tell
Yeah.
me, like, I don't know, a couple of, I don't know if you have one or two standout stories of someone
Mhm.
who's really been, positively
Yeah.
impacted.
Yeah, so, like I said, I have these autoresponders, and the website isn't it's fun, it's really fun and funny to talk about,
Mm,
but really it is serious, the website leads you down once you get to the point where you're like where the jig is up and we tell you that it's not real, we're
mhm,
telling you the emotions you're experiencing are very real, and they're because you're realizing, the emotions you're feeling about the dogs, and now the emotions you're feeling when you find out that this is not real and we're trying to trick you. This is your cognitive dissonance. This is this feeling of where my ethics don't align. Then I have these supporting links on the website that you can go to, and
mhm,
one is FAQs based on Earthling Ed's book, The 35 Excuses of Against Vegans, talking to just basically summarizing the logic behind it. There's a page with resources that talks about the sentience of animals, the impact on the environment, the impact on people. So if you click one of those paths on Facebook, you'll be led to there. If you send me an email, you get an autoresponder that is going to tell you all the same things. So like
mhm.
I'm not meaning for you to just have a laugh and leave.
Yeah.
This is an emotional journey, and you need to. I am hoping people will try and figure out why this exists. So there are many people who have messaged me to say, on one end of the spectrum, it is people just saying, I get it. I'm not going to change, but I admire what you're doing, which just, I mean,
Mm,
that's the beginning. This is the first seed that's been planted for him that
mhm.
they get the vegan perspective. I'll have other people going, I get it. I'm not ready to change, but I'm willing to make a few steps. Can you send me some tips? Then I have other
Okay.
people who are like, one woman was like, I was crying holding my cat, trying to figure out if this was real. And my God, you got me. I don't think I can ever eat any meat again. Help me. What do I
Wow.
do? And my absolute favorite is I've published this voicemail on my platforms. And I always have to frame this because I try and stay in character. So I frame this as like that wasn't what I meant at all. What are you talking about? That, why am I losing all these customers? This is not what I want. It was a woman who called 3 times, and the first time she called, she's like, she's very friendly and very polite. She's like, "I'm just curious about what you're doing." She thinks it's real. I'm just curious
Right.
about what you're doing. I wanna hear, like, I've never heard of anything like this, and it's just so weird, but, I just wanted to hear more, give me some information. She hangs up. She calls back again a few minutes later, and she goes, "Oh my god, haha, so funny. I get that it's funny. What a funny joke. I hope that my first message is just, a joy for you just because it's so funny. Haha, good job." She hangs up. She calls back a third time a few minutes later, and she's not laughing. And she goes, "Hi, it's me again. I just realized what you're doing, and I realized that it's not a joke at all." And she has these very long pauses, and she says, she owns land where she farms veggies, and her husband has been talking about bringing chickens and cows in, and she didn't know how she felt about it. And this
Mm.
is the first time she realizes that she doesn't want that at all. And she says, "Up until now, veganism to me has been such a joke. It's such a trope. It's something to be made fun of. And now I truly get it." And she pauses and her voice catches, and it's almost like she's going to cry. And she says, "I just want to
Mm.
thank you for this. This was really wild. And you guys are doing some really stand up shit. And thank you." And I was like, I hear this voicemail and I'm at work and I just like tapped in just for a second to hear a new voicemail and I'm crying. I'm like, "Oh my God." I mean, who knows how many, I have right now I'm in like 2.7 million people have visited the website. I don't know
Whoa.
if
My
I don't know.
God.
I don't is that big? I think it's big. It
That's a
seems
lot.
big.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a lot of
lot.
people, yeah.
But maybe if even 5%, what if the vegan percent that what is it, 2% of the how much of the world is vegan?
Like, actually is probably,
Yeah.
like, 1 less than 1%, to be honest.
Okay,
Like,
if one
actually
person,
not
yeah,
just identifies, I mean,
yeah,
actually is, like, yeah,
is
it's probably, like,
yeah.
less than
But even if
yeah.
1% of that group, who's
Mm.
visited it has made a change, I mean,
It's a lot of
or
people, yeah.
or just planted a seed. So,
Of
yeah,
course, yeah, it's amazing, and
yeah.
it's not surprising based on what we talked about earlier, like, people are moved because they have a dog on their lap, they have the cat in the house, because of you
Mhm.
guys, you also talk about cat meat as well, I think, right? Or you
Just
said you're
a
gonna
little.
start
We
cat meat?
we no, we I it's funny because when I started this, I was like, "And then I'll do a cat meat site," and I actually decided against it. I think cats are too
Okay.
funny.
Okay.
I think I think it's yeah, it's too ridiculous. Nobody it's just they're too small, I think.
Right. Well, I guess the
So
point was is like, it's a good point actually, yeah. But wait, when you mentioned about, the people who are so attached to the dogs, right? That's why
yeah.
it gets them
Yeah.
so much. And then when you consider that all the things that we were just talking about earlier, which we didn't address this yet, the
Mhm.
gas chambers, that's not a
Mhm.
joke. That's real. Pigs get
Mm-mm.
gas to death in gas chambers, and we were
Mhm.
joking about that happening to dogs. And we weren't joking. We were serious at the time. But
Yeah.
if somebody thought that was serious, oh my god, a gas chamber is a gas chamber, whether it's a dog or a pig. That's a very good way to have somebody realize this is no, it's sickening. Most people are sickened when they hear about pigs in gas chambers, but
Mhm.
it tends to, like, sometimes it's not quite enough to shock them enough to make them actually do something. But dogs in gas chambers, well, that is enough.
Mhm.
Nine people out of 10 in the West are going to be livid about that. And
Mhm.
then when you, oh no, it's not, that's not true, but it is true for pigs. It's a good bridge to other animals, which are, they've been so, we're conditioned to see them differently, aren't we?
Mhm.
They've been reduced so much. And then
Mhm.
again, with all the things you were saying, you were reducing dogs to like nothing but products for like a good 20 minutes. That is
Mhm.
a great way for people to realize just how much that's already been done to them for
Mhm.
pigs and cows and chickens and goats.
Right.
Society's done that to them from birth, and now you're trying to do it for dogs, and it doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
Well, shouldn't have been done to all these other animals either. So it doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me that people make the connection quickly, and you get messages like that. And
Right.
not everyone's going to call you, but you
Yeah.
are going to be having that same impact on a lot of people who just don't have the guts to call you or email you. There's no doubt about it. So it
Mhm.
is it is truly incredible, I think.
Well, it's interesting that, and I just shared this on my personal Twitter account that it was like, and I realized I'm like, I need to do more of this because my social media content is coming mostly word for word from farmers. So, um, the word dog breaks the spell of language.
Right, right.
This person was saying the one I shared was it was a and it was a picture of a beautiful picture of the feet of a dead sheep, I believe. And they were saying it's always such a shame when they pass away, 2 weeks before they were meant to be slaughtered. What a waste of money and product and a unit of sale. I did the exact same thing just with dog feet laying in the grass. And suddenly you're just like, what the fuck? Like it is
Yeah,
just
it's
the language is there, and we've been so desensitized we don't even see it.
yeah.
And it's funny how just switching one thing and suddenly it becomes what it is again.
Absolutely. I saw you did it recently with this. I'm not gonna roast this person yet. Maybe I'll do it in a separate video. So I'll just say, I'll just be neutral for now. This influencer on Instagram, she'd gone ex-vegan and she'd written
Mhm.
out this essay of crap. And I guess did you write this yourself for the
No,
post
I
or?
no, I just took her post and put in
That's
dog.
what I mean. You did that, right? So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
you're you're actually behind all the socials, right? This is you. You
I'm
don't have a
the
team or.
Elwood's dog meat is just me. No,
That's
it's just
amazing. That's
me.
amazing. That makes it so much more impressive. If the people do that to me as well, they're like, "Oh, you've got a team," and I'm like, "I say I have a team, but it's just
No,
me."
I
It's
definitely
just
say we makes it so much more fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Totally. Well, I mean, it's myself and my partner, but like,
yeah,
if you, it's mostly me on the socials, and so I
yeah,
get that. With the team, it makes
yeah,
it sound more pro, right? But
yeah.
yeah, I like that you did this. So you took her post, right? This Instagram
Mhm.
influencer, and you took all of her bullshit, and you just switched out all the anti-vegan, pro-vegan stuff for like
Uh-huh,
anti-dog and pro-dog meat,
uh-huh.
and it just you're right. That spells over. It went from being, I mean, to the average viewer, this post
It's
was like, "Oh my god, so
heartfelt.
spiritual." Hashtag
Yeah.
blessed. Yeah, exactly. Heartfelt.
It was so
Yeah.
heartfelt. I mean, I f I feel like crap doing that to to a person whose face is recognizable. Usually they have 2,000,000 followers. I feel they're a public person. But
Yeah,
usually
exactly.
yeah, I usually wouldn't use, like, the picture of a farmer when I'm roasting them. I would but this
Right.
was just yeah, yeah, it was so heartfelt. She's genuinely having a personal struggle about her choices, and she's not thinking about it in the terms of the animal's experience, but her own.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
then when you add the word dog, suddenly you're just like, "Yeah, but you just wanna shake her." You're like, "What are you doing?"
Right, right. And all the most of the comments under the actual post are all like, "You do you, babe." Like, what's that thing? I think I responded to it with some really typical, like, kinda like quote. I don't know. Those kinda like just motivational quotes that mean
Ah,
nothing. I
yeah,
hate them so much. They're so empty, but like people say them and it's like there's loads of that under it. But then yeah, like you're right. If your version of the post was up, it wouldn't have been like that, would it? People would have been
no,
like, you need to walk that back and
uh-huh. Yeah,
have a think
it's,
about what you're doing.
oh gosh. There must be some other way, you know? Yeah.
Totally. But I mean, about your point about the celebrities thing, I like that you don't single out farmers, but I think that's a good tactic. I agree with you, unless the farmer is already on the
Public.
socials,
Yes.
exactly throwing themselves around, like if they're a TikTok farmer or
Yeah.
something like that, or they're a farmer in your comment section giving you loads of crap. Then I think it's like,
Yeah,
look, mate,
yeah,
you've done this to yourself. Really.
right.
You
Well,
know,
and
yeah.
I had a really touching interaction with a farmer,
Okay.
that was so I can receive text messages to my phone number as this, farm phone number as well, and I don't check
Right.
it that often. I have to log into a website, and I don't get many, and it's generally there's kids being like, "Pug bacon, I want pug bacon."
Right.
But it the number one order on all my voicemails, pug bacon. But it was a farmer who was saying like, first, she's mad. She figures she knows what I'm doing. She's
Mm,
like, how dare you trivialize our work? This is hard work. And then I'm totally paraphrasing. I'm just going to give
sure.
you the feel of what she said, which was, this work is so hard and it is so painful and it is not easy to kill our own animals, and it I don't do this, but people keep buying it, and this is the only way we're going to survive, is if, as a family, is if we keep running this farm. And
Right.
how dare you, turn this into a joke and target these people when we're just doing what people ask. And I was like, this is farm content here, and I turn that into farm content, being like, as a dog meat farmer, I don't even want to farm dogs. You know how hard it is to kill dogs
Mm,
every day, but this is the only way I'm going to make money. And as long as you're still paying for it, this is how I have to do it. I mean, and it's so true because that's what we do to farmers. We
right.
other them, we put them, they live in rural isolation, working long hours, hurting, this is the high rates of suicide, high rates of, depression, divorce,
Mm,
similar to slaughterhouse workers. With They are living on the edge, and we put them there by paying for this food. That is part of the vegan movement too, is how do we help society create a better world for people? So
mm.
um I was really moved by it, and I thanked her. I was just like, I totally understand, and it may not look that way to you, but I'm on your side too. So that's why
Mm.
I try not to target farmers unless they're like, yeah.
Yeah, I get you. I think yeah, I think I think there's definitely a line, and you'll probably have come across some actual farmers who are like not like that, but for sure
Oh my
there are
god.
farmers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
go go on
I
that.
have
That sounds
oh
fun.
god, I have some farmers on Instagram whom are continuous sources of content for me. One woman burned down her entire pig farm. Well, that makes it sound like she did it on purpose. Her pig farm burned down with all
Right,
the
okay.
animals in it, and she
Oh
was
god.
it was a picture of her holding a little piglet, and she's like, you would never, she's like, this is the newest birth at our farm. I just want to let you know, like, we've come so far in the last year when this happened, but I'm so glad to be able to be back and working. And then I was like, what happened? And so I looked up the
Mm,
news story, and then I took her quotes where she was just like, this was hard for all of us. It was hard for the workers, but we will rebuild, and we don't feel bad for ourselves. And I did the math of how many, it was like 18,000 animals died because of
mm.
piglets, because they were pregnant mothers in this place. And I was like, this person, yeah,
It's
it to
sick, isn't it?
can, it's so sick. But again, we, I don't know, it's the world we live in. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's good. It's well, while they keep on doing this stupid shit, at least it's well, it's easy for you to keep making content. First of all,
yeah,
there's direct
yeah,
inspiration, and
yeah,
secondly, when people do get mad, you've always got the option to be like, hey, I picked this up straight from this article,
right.
and then you could even,
That-
you know what I mean? That's going to be a very
and
powerful.
That's what I really like is, like, that's actually why kind of, like, interviewing in character is hard, because
Mm,
I love to be able to point to my source material and be like, "No, I'm not making this up. This is exactly how you talk about things," because farmers like to say that vegans are twisting their words, and you're like,
mhm.
"Nope, I'm saying the same thing that you're saying," and suddenly people are mad, you know?
Yeah, totally. So you've been criticized by farmers, which was expected. But I know that I'm going to assume because I have been criticized also by vegans. You've
Right.
had the same crap? So
Oh,
the crap
yeah.
I had, I'll tell you briefly what I had, and then you
Oh,
can tell
please.
you probably have a lot more. What I had was someone was very upset because dogs are like all other animals are the victims of various different uses and
Right.
abuses, which is true. And by doing this, I am like acting like they aren't, and I'm joking, making jokes at their expense. I'm laughing at their the
Yeah.
disadvantaged ones, the ones that are actually being abused. I'm laughing about it. So I'm a disgrace for that, basically, and not a real vegan. I think that was the other
Yeah.
one. These people tend to go for the you're not a real vegan pretty quickly. I've noticed.
Mhm.
So that was
Mhm.
the one I had. Is yours anything like that? Anything similar?
Oh, yeah. That's bullet point number 1. Yeah, 1 is, dogs are, and they are, and it's funny because I
Yeah.
also just see people with companion dogs, and I don't think they treat them very well at all either. I don't think that people love dogs as much as they say they do. They
No,
don't dog
totally.
dogs don't have autonomy. Dogs are, dressed up in silly costumes. They are just
Yeah.
it's yeah, I feel lots of pain for dogs,
Oh,
and,
people love how dogs make them feel. They don't love the dogs. That's how it
exactly,
is.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I thought about that too, being how is it to, I mean, and also the same question is, I'm also showing pictures of actual dead animals. That's not very vegan of me either to be, so there is a fuzziness to it that I'm willing to, you know, overlook because of that.
Right.
I don't think that anybody is going to be, treating dogs any worse or any worse because of this. Anybody who is already mistreating a dog. Um, but,
Mhm.
let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah, so I get that. I also have this funny my funny thought is that, dogs love people so much that I'm sure they love other animals. This is me anthropomorphizing dogs. I think
Yeah,
dogs
yeah.
maybe are, they would be happy to do this. They would be happy to be part of this joke if it made the world better because dogs have good hearts,
Right.
right? I don't
Yeah,
know. I
that
don't
makes
have a
sense.
dog. I don't have a
I
dog.
yeah, I'd say I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
they
think,
just feel
like
like, "Sure."
yeah, I mean, yeah, dogs are pretty cool. I'm a dog person over cat, but although I live in Turkey right now, and there are a lot of amazing street cats out here, so
Mhm.
I'm cats are warming. I'm becoming warmer to cats
Oh,
as days go by.
yeah.
But I still there's some awesome dogs out here too. The street dogs and cats out here, by the way, they're pretty much like local pets. They're not
Mhm,
really they're not like dying, and at least in this city, they're not like dying and sick. They're actually like just street pets. Like so, they're
mhm.
really like good condition. They're dirty, but they're like healthy. So it's really cool just
Yeah.
like go hang out with them.
I love
Um,
it.
yeah, yeah, true free range actually.
Yeah,
if you
free
want
range.
to
Yeah. They've had a good life, so no matter what. Um,
exactly. But I know, I mean, the jokes and stuff. So I would say, like, my main response. I didn't ever respond to this, by the way.
yeah.
But if this is useful to you, take it. This is how I would respond.
Yeah.
Is that like so the photos thing? Regardless of whether you use the photo or not, the photo exists out in the world. The photos of meat. You didn't take it. You didn't buy any meat. You didn't do it. You just got it, I guess, off Google. It's already done. Someone who's using that photo is most likely using it to sell meat. You're using it to try and get people to go vegan. When I put
Mhm,
photos of meat in my videos, it's the same. And if I'm making a joke or whatever, even if I'm not, if
mhm.
it's the same as what you're doing, if there's mockery in there or some kind of satire to get a point across, it doesn't make what you're doing worse than say what Ed does, on his video. You're both
Yeah.
using a photo and image to try and get
Mhm.
people to go vegan. So I don't think the photos are a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
About mocking the plight of dogs, I don't think either of us was mocking the plight
Yeah.
of dogs. It's a totally fabricated thing.
It
If we were mocking Cambodian dog farms, that's a whole separate thing. We're
yeah.
not. We're mocking a non-existent farm.
Mhm.
We're making a sorry satire about a non-existent farm. So
Right.
you know, but it's not the vegans you're trying to like
Yeah.
get to or impress. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter what
Exactly,
they
yeah.
think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then
Yeah.
there's the, vegans who are saying that I'm in it for profit. And God, if I could make a profit off this, that would be amazing. I wish I could figure that out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then yeah, they saying, comparing it to the dog meat happening in other parts of the world, and
Mm.
it's just like these are parallel problems. They're not the it's not the same thing. So
No, of
yeah.
course not. And the money thing, by the way, I mean, I don't know. I guess this is this your first kind of introduction to being like public in the vegan world, like putting
Oh
yourself out there
yeah,
and
no, no. I'm just happy to be here. Yeah,
cool. So
yeah,
this is like your
definitely.
first outing into it. So
Mhm,
I'll just give you a heads up now. I've been in this for a little while, and
mhm.
you ask anyone if you get the chance. Ask anyone who's in the public sphere, like your Eds, your Joeys, just people
Yeah,
who are doing videos,
yeah.
whatever. Every single one of them will tell you they've been accused of doing it for money by vegans. All of
Yeah.
us. Vegans have this aversion to making money and supporting yourself while being an activist. I don't know what it is. They want you to do 40 hours a week in like a, I don't know, a cafe and have
Yeah,
time to be a full-time activist. That's what
right,
they want. That's the ideal.
right.
Get a real job and don't take donations. That should go to a sanctuary, but you should still be an activist. And it's like, mate, it's not, you've got to get money. You need to do. Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that just comes with the territory.
I do this on top of a full-time job, and I gotta say it's a
Wow.
lot. It's, it's a lot if I could figure out how to do this full-time.
I imagine. I mean, I'm sure like as it grows and if as it, expands, I mean,
Mhm.
there'll probably be opportunities out there
Yeah,
for some kind of,
yeah.
funding to help keep it afloat and stuff.
I did get a grant for this, which is
Oh,
why
nice.
so it helps all the grant helps. Like I had a mobile billboard in Vegas with it,
Oh
and
yeah, I
it
saw
helped
that.
and I get to pay for, someone I got I got to pay for some legal advice to make sure I'm not gonna get sued. I got to get, help with my website and, some things, anything just to make it easier so I can keep doing it has
Right.
been really nice, yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's really impressive that you're doing it on top of a full-time job. I've been there too, before I
Uh,
started doing this full time, so I know how it is. Lunch
yeah.
break, every lunch break, it's just
Checking your
on the
phone.
phone.
Oh my god. I remember having, like, some kind of it went viral, and then like, found out it went viral at, like, 7:30 in the morning, and I had to be at work at 8:30. And I'm a copywriter, so I'm, like, working
Okay.
remotely anyway, but it's just, like, you're in a meeting just trying to, like, "Don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone."
Yeah, I
It'll
know it.
still
I
be there.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you wanna see it, because it's like you refresh and it's gone up like another what,
Oh,
thousands of refresh
oh
again, and you're
god.
like, "Holy shit."
It's I was saying that it's like, it's a party that I don't get a chance to, like, I'm hosting a party, but I don't get to, like, talk to anybody. I just, like, I go in the comments and I'm like, "Oh my god, everyone is having such a great time," and I do not have
Right.
ti I can't even, I can, like something and then I have to leave, so
Yeah, no, I feel you, I feel you. Well, I mean, yeah, hopefully one day this is I mean, I'm thinking about how you could expand it. I mean, like
oh,
an
I have a
Elwood's
plan.
podcast and oh, you've got a
Oh,
plan. Cool.
I've got a
Well,
plan.
that was gonna be my last question then actually. What if you can give us a little bit of a taster, what does the future hold for Elwood's organic dog meat?
It's funny, it's really it's small stuff kind of, but it makes me happy is, I have a email list now that's probably like, I don't know, couple thousand people have an email list, but I didn't ever know what I wanted to share with people because I was like, "Do I is it a roundup what I've been doing?" And I that just that sounds like work. That's not exciting to me.
Right.
And I just realized I'm gonna mimic the humane farms emails that are just like, we have a new here's our new sale. So I can just it's again copy paste. So I'm gonna make an email that people I'm hoping that vegans can forward to non-vegans and be like, "Oh my god, what's this?" Just another way to drive
Great.
people into my trap.
Smart.
Um, I am going to be working on a horse farm soon that's gonna be a very bougie horse farm that, like, it's a ranch, that it's a destination place where you can ride them and eat them. Um, and just because
Smart.
I think that the horse people are just as passionate as dog people, and so if I can
Oof, yeah.
infiltrate it's a smaller market, but they might be more
No,
angry?
they've got more money than
Mhm.
average, the average person, because 'cause they're, like, usually you have to be rich
Yes.
to have a horse, right? Simple as that.
Yeah.
And, so they'll feel more entitled, right? They'll be,
Mhm,
how
mhm.
dare you exist?" That's what it'll be
Yes.
like. I can put my funding to stop you." That's what it'll be like, "I'll
Exactly.
stop you." So that's great.
I'm excited about just this bougie aspect of the same thing, like really attacking foodie space, like just
Mm.
delicate meat, strips of meat and something, and that's what you get when you come to our white tablecloth restaurant, and, so yeah,
Great.
but that's, kind of the scale of things right now for the next year, and trying to get
Cool.
up a billboard. If anybody knows anyone who owns land that I can put a billboard on. Turns out people
Cool.
don't want a dog meat billboard. They don't wanna help put that up.
Oof, shocker. And, do you have any plans to get any celebs on board? Maybe like Peter Singer, for example?
Oh my god, yeah, so I was just at the Animal and Vegan what AVA, Animal Vegan Advocacy Summit, and, Peter Singer was actually the next door to me in my hotel room. He was the next door over, and I had locked myself out of my hotel room, and I was digging through my purse trying to find my keys, and Peter Singer shows up. And I'm like, "I think that's," and he had his name tag on. I was like, so I say out loud, I was like, "I thought I knew who you were." And he's like, "Hi," as he's trying to get into his room to get away from me. And, I immediately reached into my coat pocket. I was like, I do vegan activism. I have this dog meat site." And I handed it to him, and he opens it, and he gives a little chuckle, and he goes into his hotel room, and I'm like, "There's my Peter Singer story." I
That's
give an Elwood
amazing.
dog meat brochure to him. So,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
yeah.
Maybe you could get him to do
I
like
get him to do
oh man,
something.
a quote
Yeah.
would be hilarious, wouldn't it? Or, someone like Peter Singer's great because of obviously his history in animal rights, or even outside of that, somebody generally like famous and vegan to put the name to this or something, or
Oh,
to
yeah.
put it out would be pretty cool. Like
I
not a vegan celeb, but a celeb who is vegan. So like a normie, let's say, and get
yes.
them to push it
I
to their
I did have oh my gosh, what is her name? I hate myself for not knowing this. There's a vegan celebrity, a celebrity who happens to
okay,
be vegan, and I
cool,
sent her she became a big fan, and she made a bunch of, stories about it on Instagram, and I
amazing.
sent her a T-shirt, and she has a reality show, and I was really hoping that she would, wear my shirt on a reality show. If I can just get my shirt on someone,
Yeah, yeah. Well, keep going for it. I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure eventually someone. I mean, the thing is, these days, I mean, God, Kanye just wore a White Lives Matter T-shirt. So I mean, people are up for wearing controversial T-shirts these days.
Oh
So
my
maybe,
god, yeah. I
so
had
maybe,
there's and this is where I need to get better at this. I'm not good with names and I forget. There was a young guy who I think a British guy who has a small, like, goth punk band in somewhere in England, and
right,
he was wearing my hat at one of his shows, and I was like, "Oh my god, this could totally be like a punk thing," like, it's just
right.
Elwoods, and it's just like, if you know,
See,
you know.
I didn't even know you had like that. I knew there was a T-shirt. I didn't know there was a hat.
There's a lot I even have candles, like, I have a pug bacon candle,
That's amazing.
um, and I found out you can just make things online, and so I have a lot of shirts that are, like, print on demand and hoodies and things, so it's just, I have an acquaintance who is he's a scientist who works at, Berkeley, and he's like an esteemed scientist who's, like, got a Wikipedia page about him, and he wears an Elwood dog meat sweatshirt to events, and I'm just
Oh, that's
like,
just amazing. That's
just
fantastic. Yeah, I could see
yeah.
it taking off because, like, I wasn't joking about the Kanye thing. I mean, people are looking for T-shirts and things that cause a ruckus. You know what I mean? They like to
Right.
kick things off. This is with a cause, obviously, but even
Yes.
some people who are vegan that they might wear it just literally just to get people like riled. Some people just enjoy riling people up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it ticks a few boxes. Like if you're that kind of person that likes to see people getting annoyed and you're
Uh-huh,
vegan, this is the
uh-huh.
T-shirt to wear, right? It's
It
perfect.
and the conversations are really great, and,
Yeah.
so I was just wearing this T-shirt on an airplane, it just says Elwood's Dog Meat over and over, and at the very bottom it says, "Delicious dog."
Right. Right.
And I wore it on an airplane, and a woman came up to me, and she's like, "Oh, do you have?" She can't even comprehend what she's seeing. She goes, "Oh, do you have a dog?" And I said, "No, I have a company." And I handed her one of my cards, and the card doesn't say anything about dog food. It's definitely an ad for dog meat. The woman misreads it. She goes, "Oh, dog
Mm,
food. Do you have a subscription service?" And I said, "Oh, yes, it's on the website. Just go." And she pockets the card and leaves. But you are able to have so many conversations with people that are not about veganism. They're about
mm,
I mean, and not about them going vegan. It's about
right.
veganism as an idea that is just it removes them from the conversation. It just becomes, yeah, less,
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah. Like helps it can remove that barrier that's like you're not putting them on blast, they're putting you on blast actually,
Uh-huh.
which is great.
Uh-huh.
Right.
They get to
Yeah.
be aggressive and then have a yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, I mean, I love it. That's why I invited you on. I think it's awesome. And I'm gonna take a look and see about the merch, and see if we can get some over here to Turkey because I especially want a
I'd
hat. I
love to
didn't know
send
they
you
existed.
something.
Oh,
I'd
that'd
love
be
to send you
awesome.
something.
I
Yeah.
did not know hats existed. I've been looking for like a kind of like getting around daily hat because this one's getting a bit wrecked and I use it for videos,
Uh-huh.
so it can't get wrecked.
Uh-huh.
So I need something
Yeah.
else. I think this would be
Uh-huh.
perfect.
Yeah.
So let's
It's
look at
it's a very ugly hat, but it definitely looks like you work for a farm.
perfect. Perfect. Is there anything you wanted to add that I've missed out?
No, just make sure if you're interested in sharing this with anybody,
Yeah.
elwooddogmeat.com is the website. I'm on all social media as Elwood Dog Meat, except for Instagram, where I've been taken down multiple times. So it's Elwood's Organic Dog on Instagram. It's really helpful to share and to share without your vegan context, just sharing it and saying, like, what the fuck is this? Or I can't believe this is legal or something like that really drives people to their emotions take over and they have to have that experience without the vegan lens. So,
Perfect. Well, yeah, it's you obviously you know what you're doing. It is working. So yeah, people give that a go and let us know in the comments how it went for you. give it. Or if you've already done this and you've had people kick off, please let us know in the comments. We'll both be there, won't we? Having a look, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So let us know, and we'll respond there as well. If I do. You're on YouTube, right? You have a YouTube account. I think
Yes.
I've seen
Yep.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
cool. So yeah, we'll be there in the comments too. Thanks. Well, thanks in advance for commenting, and thank you, Molly, for coming on and enlightening us with this. It's been amazing to learn about everything here, and best of luck for the future. I'm looking forward to seeing the horse, the horse farm, and whatever else you come up with.
Thanks so much. It was great speaking with you.